This is our microgreen vertical farm, and the airflow that we are directing out of the farm, we are directing it into this shipping container. It's an old shipping cooling container that we bought, and in this we are growing mushrooms. Yeah, so we invested in a container that was already insulated, so it's ready for food grade production, and it's very easy to clean and keep clean. And we are growing these oyster mushrooms in here. We grow them on Danish trolleys. We are growing the oyster mushrooms in coffee and straw, and we are incubating them for 14 days. And then they come out here in the container, and then we cut them up, and within 10 to 15 days we have these beautiful clusters of oyster mushrooms. The airflow is directed through this tube from the production inside, and we are putting holes all the way down to direct the airflow in the best possible way. Right now we have a humidity of around 95% in here, and an average temperature of about 20 degrees. We're growing the grey oyster, and the environment that we got in here makes the oyster like almost white. We took the shells closer to each other, took the bags from the inside away, and then we only have the bags out here. And as you can see, the result is much better. We are getting much more denser clusters here. As you can see here, it's like really nice, because the chefs really like the way that it looks. But how we are promoting it is that we pick up the coffee, so the coffee that people drink in the hotel in the morning becomes the mushrooms that they're eating in the evening. The clusters, as you can see, right now they're stretching this way because we don't have any lights up here. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna put lights all the way, and we didn't think that it was so necessary to put lights all the way, but we really figured it is, because as you can see, they're like stretching for the light. So figured it's very important to keep enough light, because if you come over here, you can see, like, instead of stretching to the right, before we had like too high CO2 levels in the back of the trays, and then when the CO2 rises, then it moves around, also around the new clusters in the front, and that's why we're getting like really stretched out pinheads. And we figured how to stop this. So I'm having like a station here where I'm opening the bags, and then I'm just moving out in this direction of the container. So we're filling up the container from the left and then just moving down here, so you can see the clusters, they start coming up more. So we are opening 150 bags 3 times every week, so that gives us like a consistent yield, because we need to be able to deliver to the restaurants when the produce is fresh, and we can't like allow the produce to go bad. Now the grow medium is mixed, then I'm filling these bags. I'm filling them up around half, so I can get the bag to turn around itself. I'm taking the filter patch here, and then I'm closing it up. So that means in the pasteurization process, we don't get any unnecessary vapor inside the bag. So we keep the bag closed, and then it's only the bag that gets heated, and the content inside stays how it is. So in this process, it's not that important to be very clean. But after we sterilized and pasteurized the bags, then from there on, it's really important to keep a clean bag, because if the slightest amount of mold gets into the bag, then the whole bag is contaminated. So I'm just filling up these bags here. The reason why we like to use the straw is because it's a natural byproduct of wheat production. So we're using wheat straw in the process, and we figured that oyster mushrooms of the straw species grown here in Denmark, the best one is wheat for the oyster mushrooms. After this process, we are taking the pasteurized bags into our laboratory, and then we are inoculating them with the oyster mushroom spores. I can show you, this is how the bag looks when the whole process is finished before it goes into the fruiting room. You can see the whole bag is inoculated and colonized, and this is the go signal to taking the bag and putting them out in the container. I want to show you how it looks after we've opened the mushroom bags. Then the mushroom starts fruiting outside, and we've created the perfect environment in the container here. So we will get like a really good result from these bags. If it's too humid, the mushroom doesn't grow very well, and if it's a little too less humid, then the mushroom gets really dried out and you don't get that much weight from it. The environment that we created here is the perfect environment that we figured to grow it in. And as you see here, we get like around half a kilo of mushrooms per bag. We are harvesting 2 times on each bag, and as you see, we are using like a lot of plastic in the container here to grow the mushrooms in. But we made like a conscious decision that we think it's a better way to grow food, because if you compare it to making a pound of beef, then the amount of plastic that we use and the resources we use to make a pound of mushrooms are way less than if we are making a pound of beef. All the inside of the bags are made from materials that are a byproduct of something else. The coffee we're using is used coffee grounds, and the straw is basically also a byproduct of wheat production. So this is how we chose to build the container and the grow room we are growing in here. After we put the bags inside the container, you can see here they will start pinning and start producing little mushroom heads after around a week of opening the bags. And then from each day on, from that point, the mushrooms will double its size each day. So the process goes really fast. After we grew the second time in the bag and harvested 2 times, we take the inside material and then we make a compost out of it. And the neighbors in the area around, they can come here and they can pick it up and use for soil, and thereby we are always recycling everything that we can. We are trying to figure how we can recycle the plastic, because there's a filter patch on it, and that means that normal plastic recycle is not possible. So right now we're figuring how we can really solve this issue.